Hi, my name is Melissa. Originally from Belize. So today I'm gonna show you guys how to make one of my favorite Belizean greens, something I grew up on. And coming to America, I didn't know I was gonna be able to get all of this, but this is a very tasty, simple green named Callaloo. My grandmother used to grow this a lot, and now I can go to the farmer's market, specifically the one in Torrance, and get that on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So today I'm just going to show you guys how to make a simple dish with pretty much. When you get your greens, you want to make sure that you clean it properly. You'll pull back, cut off the ends like that a little bit and pull it back so that whatever tough part on the greens can come off. If you see any dead leaves or whatever, you can pull those off as well. So we're pretty much going to do this, for all of them until you're done. I got about 3 bunches, so if you have a helping hand around the house, you get your kids, you get everybody else involved to help clean the callaloo. So when you're done cleaning, you got all your bunches stacked up together. You're gonna wash them under cold running water, just like you would any kind of greens, like collard greens or spinach or anything like that. Make sure cold running water. If you have to wash it twice, you do that. When you're done washing your greens, you put them all together. You're going to stack them up. You see mine still have a little bit of water in there. Put all of them together like this, and then you're going to slice them up. So greens is actually like I said, one of my, just in general, greens are very good for you, and this is specifically one of my favorite because it tastes good as well. So traditionally back home, we would eat this with homemade tortillas, which is the best. But since I compete, homemade tortillas are not a part of my diet right now. I do also, figure and bikini competitions. So off season, I can pretty much eat whatever I want in moderation, of course. Everything is about moderation. But during my season when I'm competing, flour tortilla, I kind of delete from my diet, which I would not be able to include in my diet. So once you gather all your greens like this, put them all in a bowl. And this is a very, like I said, very simple recipe with a lot of flavor and a lot of stuff that are on my diet when I'm competing. You have your low carb, which is pretty tasty. Ingredients that you're going to add to your callaloo: some onions, some garlic. These onions pretty much I just sliced and diced it up. Some minced garlic and some salt. I prefer to use either sea salt or kosher salt. And my favorite, of course, type of oil that I'm going to add to it is coconut oil. Coconut oil is very nutritious. I'm finishing the rest of the greens that I had. When you're cutting your greens, you want to make sure that you roll it really tight, because it can easily come apart and then you're trying to grab greens all over the place. You don't want to do that. So as I was saying, coconut oil, that is the key element to my callaloo. You can use other oils, but I love the flavor of coconut oil. And like I said, it's a healthy fat. When you're competing, your body also needs, just in general, your body needs fat, but it needs the healthy fat. Coconut oil is a medium chain triglyceride, medium chain fatty acids. So I'm gonna go over there to the stove, get our pot really hot, add some coconut oil to it. We're gonna get these onions browning, and that also is the key to getting the flavor in the callaloo. You want to get your onions really, really caramelized, and add your garlic to it towards the end of it, because the garlic tends to burn a little bit quicker than the onion. So once we get these all brown, then we're gonna add our callaloo, a little bit of salt, and let it cook down for a little bit. So I'll see you over there at the stove. Okay, so we have a pot here on the stove. This is probably going to take maybe about a minute or two to kind of get really hot. I don't know, maybe we should turn on the fan. No, actually we'll turn the fan off right now. We won't get the kitchen smoking. So like I said, these are 4 simple ingredients. Oh, there's a 5th ingredient that I like, that I have to have, but I don't have any today. This habanero pepper. Usually I'll put 1 in there. You really want to talk about increasing your metabolism, add some heat to your food. that will have you burning calories like there's no tomorrow. But since we don't have fresh habanero, I'm just gonna have to add it to my food at the end. So while we have our pot getting hot here, a little bit more about me, what I love to do. This is something that I do every day, cooking. I have 3 kids, so they're all school-age kids. I'm constantly cooking, making meals for them, and trying to balance it out between what they like and the healthy option. Being a nurse as well, you know, I know all about the benefits about healthy eating and just trying to, you know, maintain a healthy lifestyle. So that's very important. So while we have our pot, you can see that's already hot. I'm gonna add about 2 spoons of coconut oil. And once that's already hot in there, so now I'm gonna add my onions. Turn up the heat a little bit. It's probably gonna take about a couple minutes to get really caramelized, just to bring out the flavor and the onions. So while we wait on that, we'll get our callaloo over here. We have that already here. And you have to remember too, when you're adding your ingredients, that like with any greens, the callaloo is going to shrink. So once you put it down, it's going to be about half of what it looks like in this bowl. So sometimes it's best for you, especially if you're just starting off, to add your salt to your food at the end, because you don't want to make it too salty. That's the worst tasting, is to have salty callaloo. So, you know, use that very sparingly, your salt, and especially with kosher salt, you don't need a lot of salt as opposed to regular, you know, table salt. So a little pinch of that would be good. I usually don't eat with a lot of salt in my diet anyway. I use more of a lot of fresh herbs and a lot of heat. Like I said, I love spicy food. That's my weakness. So we got our onions. Not quite there yet. I like to, like I said, I like my onions to get really brown. I'll show you guys what it's gonna look like when it gets there. Usually when I buy pepper, I try to store a little bit for later. So I might have some in here. Aha, look what I found. Habanero. So I do have some. And they're frozen, so that's perfect. And my onions are just the way I want it to be. Nice and brown. Add my garlic. Garlic takes a lot quicker to brown than the onions. Usually I don't even get that too brown because I don't want it to taste bitter. So, got that in there. Start adding my callaloo. And it's okay, all of it won't fit in the pot right now. I have a lot here too. This is about 3 bunches, but I'll eat this just about every day. Breakfast and lunch specifically. I like this with my eggs. This would be like my carbs with my egg whites. And a little bit of sprinkle of kosher salt on top. Stir it up a little bit. And you could add gradually to it because, like I said, it's going to cook down. And when I add my habanero pepper, I'm not going to slice it up or anything. I just usually let it steam in there, and the heat from cooking this actually makes the habanero a little hotter, and I keep it whole. You don't want to cut it, especially if other people in your family member don't. And you don't want to pop the pepper in there because your whole dish could be spicy. So you just steam your habanero pepper in there. And your food is almost done. Like I said, it's cooking down, so I'm just going to add a little bit more. And keep on stirring. This pot is actually a little small for it, but it'll get there. And this cooks really quick, so you can let it steam down a little bit. Turn your stove down. And it's actually going to start retaining water, the water that you rinsed it with. So it's going to be in there. You let it cook, saute a little bit. Probably takes maybe about 5 minutes or so. This is a lot, like I said, but Normally, unless you have a huge family, you wouldn't be making this much. And usually when I cook, I try to cook enough food for like several days and mix and match my meals so that I always have food readily available, you know, always to have something healthy on hand. So I'll show you the end product in a little bit, and until then, see you back at the stove in a few minutes. So now our callaloo has been cooking for about 10 minutes. Oh, and you can see that. That looks just about done. And you see my pepper up there. It's not popped, but it's nice and steamed. So be careful when you're stirring that around so you don't pop that. And this is about how you want it. It doesn't have a lot of liquids in there. It's just nicely cooked and perfect. I'll probably eat this with my whole wheat tortillas. Not white tortillas, but whole wheat. Which will be not as good, but hey, it's going to get the job done. So, until then, make time for yourselves, take care of your body, and find that perfect balance for you. Mind, body, and spirit.